saw your tweets and I go, wait, what's happening? Because you said he was your favorite ex-boyfriend, and then what does he do? Supporting Trump?
He says he doesn't want to pay 62% of taxes, which, by the way, isn't a plan of Joe Biden's. That's a lie. So he doesn't want to pay 62% of taxes because he doesn't want to go from being 50 cents to 20 cents. And I had to remind him that he was a black person, so he can't vote for Donald Trump, and that he shouldn't be influencing an entire swath of people who may listen to him because he's worried about his own personal pocketbook. So I haven't heard back from him yet, but I am willing to, seal the deal in more ways than one if he changes his mind and publicly denounces Donald Trump. I might be willing to go for another spin, if you know what I'm talking about.
Welcome to the most overrated, underappreciated, most viewed, underviewed podcast of all time. Welcome to the Prince of Fresh Air. This is your host, the most charismatic man in entertainment, aka the tall glass of water with Dimitri. How you doing, man?
Back at y'all with another one.
So I'm not gonna waste no time because I want to talk about something that transpired over the weekend. So Chelsea Handler, who is 50 Cent's ex, they dated about 8 years ago for a short period of time. As I told you before, 50 Cent came out and said that regarding Biden's proposed tax plan, there's no way he's voting for him. He's going to vote for Trump because he don't want to pay 62% of his income to taxes, which is fair. I'm not going to argue with him. I wouldn't want to do that either. And Chelsea Handler decided that she had to take matters into her own hands. So she goes on Jimmy Fallon's show. And basically what she said was, I had to remind 50 Cent that he's black and he can't vote for Trump. And, her and Jimmy Fallon start giggling. Like this is all funny. And the problem is she's a white woman. And I'm not against white people. Let me say that. But this is a white woman saying that she has to remind a black man that he's black because he wants to vote for somebody because he wants to protect his own pockets. How do you feel about that?
I don't understand what she means by that. Like I don't get the implications. I guess what she means is kind of what Joe Biden said. I guess if you're not voting for him, then that means you're not black. I mean,
that's what I'm taking from it. I feel like, a lot of people are against her for saying that because it feels like for the longest time, and I talked about this before with you, where just like this whole mentality with the Democrats and people who are Democrats, that black people have to vote for Democrats. And if they vote Republican, they're scorned and shamed. And you've seen this time and time again. Ice Cube, Candace Owens, now 50 Cent is being scorned for it. Look, I'm gonna just say it like this. Look, 50 Cent's entitled to his own opinion. If he want to vote and protect his own pockets, that's his right. This is America. My problem is people who say this is a free country and you have the right to vote for who you want. But when you do that, they call you out your name. And now you got people telling black people that they're not black for voting for Biden. And this is just one of the instances, but this time and time again, I'm seeing this on Twitter where like the Hodge twins who are fitness, who made a killing on YouTube doing fitness, they became Trump supporters because they realized like they've always been told they have to be Democrats. There was nothing else and nothing better. And when you look at what Biden says, if you vote for Trump, you ain't black. That's just what he said. If you vote for Trump, you ain't black. Like, what is up with this? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, the fact that nobody's talking out against her and criticizing her for this, people are laughing, thinking it's funny. How's that right? Let me tell you this. If a man said that to a woman, oh my God, come on. Like, we already know the FBI knocking on his door tomorrow. He going to jail. Like, I don't get why there's so much hate in this world. Like, it's ridiculous that she felt that was a necessary comment.
Well, I mean, 50 Cent doesn't strike me as the type of guy to even really give a shit about backlash anyway. And most of the backlash are from, people, 3/4 of the backlash are from people that have way less money than he does.
Right.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, his vote doesn't even really matter anyway. His opinion doesn't really matter. So I'm not sure what, all the hoopla is about. I mean, he's just going against the grain and people don't like that. But I think 50 Cent is strong enough to not really give a shit. So
Yeah,
she's
I'm
Chelsea
not.
Handler. Who is she?
Yeah,
She's not even pretty.
I'm not defending him because I mean he has the money. He don't care. We all know what he does, but it's just the fact that that comment just hit a nerve with me. Like I had to remind him he is black. Like what
Well, what
is
you
this?
like? I mean, to me, it's like, well, I'm not. Her saying something like that doesn't surprise me because, for one, look at her. Two, I mean, what is she? She's white. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't expect her to be sensitive. To have any sort of sensitivities to a issue that she can't relate to or has nothing to do with her. So,
Right.
what do you expect? And at the end of the day, in this day and age anyway, it's rich people or poor people. So 50 Cent's not even really black. What does he do for the quote unquote black community? Not a goddamn thing. So whatever his issues are with Biden that has nothing to do with black people, that's just a tax thing. That's just a tax issue that he has.
Right. Look, I mean, you're entitled to vote for whoever you want. I'm not my podcast, even though I'll talk about politics, I'm not here to sway people's vote because people already have their mind made up. But one other thing that she said in this interview she did with Jimmy was that she said that she'll do anything if he denounces his support for Trump, and she'll even do another turnaround if he does that meeting. She'll do favors for him if he votes for Biden. Like
That's
this is
corny.
yo, like look, I'm not gonna get to the whole double standard thing, but like if a if a man would have said this on national TV, you telling me he won't be in jail right now? People wouldn't be trying to cancel him. People wouldn't be out here trying to end this man's whole career. How's
Yeah.
this like? That's like against the law, regardless. The fact that you're trying to bribe somebody with sex to vote for, like, I don't know, man. Like this whole thing is just scummy. Like,
Yeah. I mean, honestly, again, these are people that, have make 6, 7 figures, in entertainment. So it's all part of an agenda. And I guess 50 Cent, I mean, I don't even think they really take it as serious as, they're projecting. So, I don't think, me personally, I don't feel no ways about what she said, because what do you expect? Because it's like,
yeah,
if some trailer park dude, called you, the N word. I mean, you're not gonna be that, because it's what else? That's what I expect. That's what I've come to expect from that guy. Who
right.
was Chelsea Handler? She was a show host. I don't know if her show is still on TV. So what she do now? What does she do? What is she known for?
No, I
I barely,
agree.
I barely even know her. I only know her for having a show on E or wherever it was in 2009. That's it. She has no significance to me, so therefore I place no power on her words, because I mean, whatever. Obviously it's a different thing when somebody like Joe Biden says that, because he's going to be the guy that's running for office, so it's a little bit different. But her, like I said, who cares? She's like a small speck.
Yeah, so like I said, this is gonna be quick fire. So this is daily news. So I'm gonna finish up on that. The next thing I want to talk about was a article I seen and read. So this was on the news today. A Joe Biden supporter was in a truck with a Black Lives Matter sign, and he came across a Trump supporter and his son. And his son was around 9, 10 years old. I might be a little wrong on that, but he was a young child. And I guess the Joe Biden supporter didn't like what the Trump guy was saying, so he opened fire on both the father and the son. And what struck me was the fact that people think this is fine. People think this is funny. People saying we got to cleanse the Trump supporters and we have to get rid of them. And people think this is funny that people are out here shooting people because they want to vote for Trump or whoever the case may be. Like what? Since when is shooting at kids? I mean, people got me messed up, man.
I'm not. It doesn't surprise me. Like I said, this entire society is in disarray. All all this country is just the divided states of America.
Yeah.
And everybody has their own opinions, and we don't. We talked about before that. I was saying that there is no black pride, there's no unity, there's no pride or unity in humankind. Like, we all look at each other like we're a different species when we're really all the same thing. People can just get a gun, shoot somebody, when you wouldn't bat an eye. People care more about the lives of animals than they do their fellow man.
Yep.
When will, I keep saying this, when will collective consciousness, raise? I don't think so. So it's really a downward spiral. You would think that in 2020, people would kind of just, with all the information that's just at your fingertips these days, and how glued people are to their phones, you would think that people would, think differently, but they don't. So honestly, I'm numb to it now. I'm numb to just the madness, and it just doesn't surprise me anymore.
Just to capitalize on that ending, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the most charismatic podcast of all time. Feel free to definitely support this podcast. Go to anchor.com/the Prince of Fresh Air. You can, donate. You can send voice messages to be included in future episodes, which I will do, no problem. This is a podcast built on freedom of speech. So regardless of what you have to say, it will be unedited and put right into the podcast, because I'm a firm believer that people shouldn't be censored. I mean, let's just try to keep it a little PG. And like I always say, a helping hand is a better hand.